Welcome back to the Savage Nation. We see that Romney expects to wrap up the GOP campaign at the end of April, and some in his campaign are readying a campaign called The Prosecution of Obama. Unfortunately, by what I read, they're going to only assail the president's handling of jobs and the economy. Now, this is the disaster of the Romney campaign. This is why the core base will not come out. If he's going to play technocrat, middle of the road, let's deal only with the economy, he's finished. That's all there is to it. They don't want Obama light. They don't simply want another power of K Street operatives occupying the White House. That's why I wrote Trickle-Down Tyranny. Those in the Romney campaign will listen to the show regularly, and I know you do, trying to decide whether or not to have your candidate on this show. Let me read something to you because it's called Advice to the Next President, and I'll read only the first paragraph. Tell this to Mr. Romney. It's a savage worldview. Economies can be rebuilt. Armies can be repopulated, but once a nation's pride is gone, it can almost never be restored. The loss of a nation's honor is something not even centuries can repair. The next president must love America. The next president must embody unequivocally everything that is good about this country going back to its founding. The next president must be the exact opposite of Barack Obama. He must be a man of high character and strong commitment to American values because he will be facing problems and issues that no U.S. leader has had to face since the years leading up to World War II. Let me explain what I mean by giving you information you won't hear from any other source. And I hope that Mr. Romney is given this information. It's all in trickle-down tyranny. Obama's economic policies have caused such an enormous rise in the price and the necessities of life that his administration has removed food and energy prices from its financial analysis in order to avoid telling the American people just how bad inflation is. So if you hear inflation is 9%, that's a lie. If they were to insert the price of energy and food into it, it would be much higher. So why does the government media complex get away with this? Answer. Because the government media complex is Pravda. It's the New World Order. It's the Pravda New World Order of our time. The U.S. Navy, our primary military force in the 21st century, has the smallest number of ships we have had since the end of World War I. In 1918, our Navy was composed of 774 ships. It's down to fewer than 300 ships today. Does that matter to you? It should. China is building its Navy. Russia is increasing its military. How about just plain old economics, Mr. Romney? The gross domestic product of the U.S., $15 trillion. Take all the nations of the earth together, including the U.S., and their gross domestic product, $60 trillion. Easy numbers to remember. We produce $15 trillion. All the nations on the earth together produce $60 trillion. What is the total debt owed by all the countries and banks and brokerages on the planet? $600 trillion. It's a factor of 10 to 1. 10 times what all of our economies combined produce in a year. That's what's owed. So in other words, the crushing debt that caused the economic crash of '08, the one that sealed the deal for the election of the first Marxist president of the United States of America, only it's grown even bigger than it was then. And at best, Barack Obama will be doing nothing about these issues, and the others I'm going to reveal to you in trickle-down tyranny. At worst, he'll be actively trying to make these critical, potentially crippling problems worse, as he did today, by lobbying and succeeding in blocking the transfer of precious black gold oil from Canada to a refinery in Louisiana. What sane president who cares about a nation would do this? What president could get away with this if we had a free press? The answer is none. And so I implore you to please inform yourself. Please educate yourself with the real facts rather than the hyperbole that exists in the form of these Obama videos, which have no merit whatsoever so far as I can tell. This is not to denigrate Andrew. Andrew was a good man. He did the right thing. He was a brave man. But why invent controversy when it doesn't exist just to get some attention? Isn't there enough foolishness and corruption in what I've showed you this administration has done and is doing that you don't have to invent it? 1-800-449-8255. Let's go to Boston, Massachusetts. Carl on WRKO. Welcome to the Savage Nation.
Dr. Michael Savage, what an honor it is to speak to you. I'm a big fan. Listen,
Thank you.
Also a big fan, am a big fan still of Andrew Breitbart. The Breitbart tapes, I was praying for a smoking gun, and all I got was a fart in the wind. I was painfully disappointed.
Oh, God. No, you're right. You were looking for a smoking gun, and you got nothing.
Praying for a smoking gun. Listen.
Instead of a smoking gun, all you got was poking fun.
That's about it. Listen, sir, I would like to tell you I'm excited. This is a big day for me. This is my first live Michael Savage broadcast. I discovered you 6 months ago on the Internet. I am archiving. I have archived the last 3 years of your show. I've bought your last several books. I enjoy them very much.
Wait a minute. So you're listening to me? Wait, are you listening to me on the web or on WRKO in Boston?
I am listening to you on the iHeart Radio app. I'm listening to the station that you're broadcasting on now. I found you finally. I found a live broadcast. This is my first live broadcast.
Well, you got a great voice. You must be in the media.
I have done some media work. I'm into the arts and entertainment. I'm also into graphic design. Thank you very much. I've been told I have a good voice, and I do.
You have a very good radio voice. You're very enthusiastic. You project your ideas very well. And if you lived in California, I'd offer you a job.
Leave the work I have put into this archive, because in 5 or 10 years, okay, when my friends come to me and say, why are we living like they are living in Cuba, I can play the videos that I've downloaded of all these politicians, and then I can play your broadcasts, and maybe, of course it'll be too late, but maybe.
No, you won't be able to play them. They won't let you play them. They'll be seized by Big Sis.
Isn't that the truth? They'll be coming to my door soon now that I've admitted this.
Yes, so I'm going to send you a free copy of Trickle Down Tyranny. Would you like that as a gift?
Oh, thank you so
much! Well, listeners like you are very hard to find, so thank you very much for that call. Let's take some of the Paul callers. Let's go to West Virginia. Duff, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm a Paul caller, although I do love your show. I was going to
Thank God you can disagree with me on Paul and still love the show. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I do. Most of the stuff that you say, I do like it. I listen to it every day coming home from work. Anyways, basically my point was going to be that I don't think that Paul is anti-Israel, obviously, or I wouldn't support him. But, we spend enough money in these wars. Israel can take care of itself.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you 100%. Both of the things you just said are 100% correct. That's not my position. In fact, I'm angry at Israel for not defending itself. After all the years we've been sending them money, it's about time they defended themselves. I'm sick and tired of America being dragged into wars by others. I agree with you. But he gave a speech, Ron Paul, where he says we shouldn't bomb Syria, okay? Which I agree with, by the way, in that the opposition in Syria may be much worse than the dictator who's in Syria right now. The same way as what happened in Libya. Gaddafi was an evil man, but look at what we got now. We got a regime of Islamists who kicked over the graves of British war dead in their own country and hate America. What is wrong with this administration? They don't even understand who they're supporting.
What was that?
Thank you for the call. I appreciate that very much. 1-800-449-8255. You want to talk more about the tapes? You want to talk about something else? Let's go to Pete in New York on WORG. Fire away, Pete.
Hello, Mr. Savage. How are you? I think I understand why he came out with these videos on the show. You were a little bit at a disadvantage because you didn't see the whole show, being that I did. I think the gist of it was that he was trying to establish that the media is in the tank for Obama, and he was trying to show that, or they were trying to show that the educator
we know this. We know Obama's a radical. We know he hung around with black radicals at Harvard. We know he was admitted under affirmative action and would necessarily gravitate to others like himself. But why does that make it controversial? We all know all of this.
No, that part is not controversial. The part that's controversial is that he's establishing that the media, the mainstream media, failed to do their job in vetting Barack Obama before he became president. So
what do you mean by What do you mean by vetting? What do you mean by vetting? Tell me by vetting how.
Well, they purposely failed to ask him the tough questions of his associations with known terrorists and so on and so forth. But,
well, that's 100% right, but we all know this. This is old news to those of us who understand who Barack Obama is. Those of us who have studied the man. In my last book, Trickle Up Poverty, I spelled it out in detail. I'm not the only one who's done this. I can name 5 books that have done this. This is old news. What's new about this?
Oh well, no, you're right. You're correct, sir. It's not new, but I think it's.
See, but here's the problem. I think what you're saying is you're hoping that the average Joe will finally say, "Aha." Barack Obama is a product of affirmative action. Barack Obama was given entree to Harvard Law School after being given entree to Columbia based on his race. And as a result, we should have been warned of who he was, that his sympathies really lied with those who believe of black nationalism and all of the other extremist rhetoric that we heard coming out of black nationalists at Harvard and other places in academia. But the fact is they don't care. They know this about him, and they don't care about it at all. You know what they care about? The pebble in their shoe. They care about the price of bread and the price of gas. And if anything is going to undermine Obama, it's the price of gasoline. It's the price of bread at the store. Those are the only things that are liable to get this man unelected. Do you know that? Listen to me. All of these refined ideas about his socialism, his distemper towards America, we understand all of this. We've talked about it for years, those of us on the other side of the aisle. We know it. But the ancient Romans cared only about the pebble in their shoe. What did that mean? What did Cato the Elder, the Roman historian, mean when he wrote that the average Roman in those times cared only about the pebble in the shoe? He said they didn't care about Germania and what the legions were doing in Germania, what the legions were doing in the other countries, who they conquered, how they conquered, whether they were winning or losing. They could care less. What did the average Roman in Rome in those days care about? He cared about the pebble in his shoe. What did he mean by that? Cato meant that the average Roman cared about what you care about. That is inability to pay for his mortgage, the cost of a loaf of bread, the price of a gallon of gasoline. The everyday vagaries of existence are what drive voters to or from the polls. When things are going well, there's a very low turnout at the polls. When things are going badly, there's a very high turnout at the polls. So by killing the Keystone XL pipeline today, Barry Obama has shown his true intentions and his true designation about what he wants for America. This is a golden opportunity for the Republican candidates to finally stop eating each other's livers and to start talking about the disaster called Obamaism. I'll be right back.
Savage.